Hey everyone, this is Nathan, and for this independent project, as well as my other one, I decided to turn the works that we read in class into CD albums or album covers, um, mainly because CDs are a giant part of my life, as is just music in general. After doing the math, I have about 270 CDs not on a bookshelf or anything, just kind of strewn about my room right next to me. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for this independent project, it was kind of obvious, and I didn't know why I didn't think of it sooner. I think it'd be really interesting to take this written medium that we've been working in all term and turn it into something else, something that's both visual and auditory, right? Because if it's a music album, you can both see the album cover and kind of understand the vibe of the music, and then also imagine what the music itself might sound like. And I think that's just a really interesting way to look at these works through a different lens. And especially for Heartbreaking, there's so much you can talk about there. But as far as the medium that I think I'll be working in, I think I'll do it digitally because as much as I enjoy doodling and I love graphic design, doodling word marks and logos and stuff like that, I don't have the artistic talent to make something that I would be happy to present to everyone else. So it'll be probably done digitally, which is fine because you can add a lot of cool things there that you wouldn't be able to do on paper. So for Heartbreaking, I took a lot of inspiration from like the emo bands from the early 2000s, of which I am a fan. Don't get me wrong, a lot of CDs over here that fall into that category. And one of the bands and albums that I took the most inspiration from is Fall Out Boy, specifically from Under the Cork Tree, which is their best album. Um, but one of the things that is so interesting about this period of time, like the early 2000s when all this emo music was being published, was that there was a trend to name your songs ridiculously long, like song titles. There's like, if we look on the back of this, I slept with someone in Fall Out Boy and all I got was a stupid song written about me. Or like, I've got a dark alley and a bad idea that says you should shut your mouth. They're hilarious. And I think they're so fun and so interesting. And they're so witty and clever. And I thought that writing an album track list like that would lend itself super well to Egger's piece because he obviously is he's very witty, very wordy, very egotistical even. So I think if he were to present something like this, he would absolutely kind of do this, inflated song title just for the irony of it and just to be funny. Um, so that was one of the main reasons that I decided to do this form of, this album, this genre. Also to distinguish it from my other album because it's pretty similar already. Um, and I wanted to make these genres distinct from each other. But yeah, obviously, as I sat down to start writing these song titles, it was really difficult to make them funny and witty and clever. And I think I have a few that I'm very proud of. I don't know if anyone else will think it's funny, but I also think if you are not a part of that culture, that you don't understand what goes into writing these songs or what the songs are about or like why they would name them so long, it might be harder to have an appreciation for it. I this one more than the other one I kind of did ironically, but I think that also works super well with the themes that Eggers is talking about. Obviously he's very emotional and he has a lot of issues that he's working through, so I think writing an emo album about all of the stuff that he's going through lends itself really, perfectly. And he has a lot of major events that he goes through in the book, from the death of his parents to moving out west. There's so many that it was hard to narrow it down as I started that process and refine it down to like a 12-song track list. Again, like Franny and Zoe, you could write a lot of songs about everything that goes on in Heartbreaking, but then that would be a bit too much to chew on. So I hope you enjoy looking at this album art and the track list, and I hope it lets you look at these texts in a different lens than you normally would. Thanks.